Go.
When I was a teenager, most of teenagers were disciplined mainly by church. At the time, rather than teaching the faith of children by connecting the church and the family, the church was mostly responsible for the education of the children's faith. Nowadays, a number of churches teach faith to children in connection with the family. Also, more Christian media are also being delivered through social media, such as YouTube and Facebook. However, as time goes by, Sunday school is disappearing and teenagers are leaving the church. Church facilities and educational media are much better than when I was a teenager, but the next generation within the church is disappearing. I think that's because fewer people serve teenagers with love and passion. In other words, when I was a teenager, it was the love and passion of Sunday school teachers that greatly improved my discipleship. Through my Sunday school teachers, dedication and love, I experienced God and I was able to grow. I believe that in order for student ministry to recover again, not only the education system, but also love and passion for teenagers will need it.
So if I had to look at and evaluate how I was being discipled as a teenager, I think the biggest thing I mentioned was being in a military environment, growing up in a chapel. We had a ton of programs. We had VBS, youth groups, things that were targeted towards kids, but we also had a ton of turnover. So leaders were coming and going, and so that was the chaplains, that was the youth leaders, the programs, and with every new leader came a new personality and a new message. And so the biggest thing for me, as I'm looking at the second half of the question, the greatest improvement to discipleship is just consistency and intentionality. Instead of having discipleship be the byproduct of these programs and maybe almost unintentionally happening, on a daily basis. It would be good for us to be consistent with our message and consistent with our presence so that kids are hearing it again and again and again, and you have an environment that's there consistently for them to develop relationships and for discipleship to start to occur organically. So I think that's my piece.
Great. So for me, evaluating my discipleship experience as a teenager, I think it was awesome. Specifically from sophomore year to high school year, So sophomore year to senior year is when it was really the best. And I think I can, speaking to what Ben said, I can attribute that to consistency, but also really more importantly, intentionality. And my Sunday school teacher, the day we went and visited our church when we moved there, um, he came and he knocked on our door and he welcomed us. He actually came in and met my family and talked to us. And what's really cool in this instance is he was my Sunday school teacher. Then my senior year, he became the youth pastor in that time. And then I was able to intern for him while I was in college. And that was all in Oklahoma. And now we both work together down in Houston. And so we've been able to see such great fruit from that relationship. And it's great to see just how he was faithful with being intentional with the student, which I'm sure he didn't lick that up off the ground because he was a leader in the ministry. He was a lay leader, and it just kind of begins to speak volumes to what power lay leaders have with their students if we equip them and train them right. And so one thing that I think could make it better, even though this did take place, I think that's something that can take place better in our discipleship today is just an intentionality on all fronts, from the pastors, from the youth workers, from the parents, from just intentionality with students is so key, because something is being intentional with them, whether it's their entertainment, their phone, whatever it is. Um, it wants their attention, and we should want their attention too. So that's what I got.